There were signs in the hospital that told us that smoking was prohibited. When venturing outside, we found these signs again. "Let's just keep walking," said Rory, though her voice rasped with uncertainty and steroids. We'd never left the hospital without authorization before, and were not entirely sure of what the consequences of doing so might be. But Rory had said to keep walking, so that's what we did. I walked a few paces behind her, watching the wheels of her drip rattle over the rough tarmac leading out towards the fields. This distance was partly due to a sense of respect I held for Rory back then. She was 2 years my senior and had had chemo twice now, and she smoked cigarettes, something my 12-year-old self found profoundly cool. Secondly, I would have rather died than admit it, and nearly did. I struggled to get my screaming lungs to pump any harder than they already were. I was relieved when we reached the fields, though I was still inclined to check back over my shoulder into the gloom of the October evening, expecting somehow to see an army of nurses surging over the hill, glitter-glue name-badged pins to heaving blue and white chests, tight buns of the shocking copper you can only get from home dye kits, and shaking fists brandishing 9-inch syringes brimming with Fencristine. "We should sit down," Rory told me, while finding a level part of the ditch to park her drip upon. So we sat down. The ground was a bit wet, though I was sure it hadn't rained in days. Then again, my vision was deteriorating and I was sleeping a lot. I could have missed it. Rory pulled a box of cigarettes out from between her breasts. I didn't even have breasts in which I could conceal cigarettes within the first place. She pulled a long white something from the packet and made the end burn white, then glow a deep red. I couldn't see properly, so I moved close to her, so I could make out her face, her large frail lips pulling hard to take in smoke. A car drove past, lighting up the darkness as my stomach contracted with fear. Rory didn't even flinch. She just tipped back her head and shut her swollen eyes. The sky was dark, the road was dark, and in the distance rooks were gathering in screaming, writhing masses chasing the glow of a harvester. My heart is made of rooks, I thought. It was a silly thing to think. Rory's hair was beginning to grow back, but it was doing so in dribs and drabs. It wasn't real hair. It was light and golden. "Your hair is like feathers," I told her, and I kissed her arm. She opened her eyes as if some insect had flown by her face, disrupting her sleep. She looked at the packet in her hands. It was simple, symmetrical, and important to Rory. It was everything I wasn't. "You want one?" she asked me, gesturing vaguely as if she had some obligation she'd forgotten to fulfill. I don't really know why I said it, and the minute it left my lips, my heart died a little more. "Smoking gives you cancer," I said. The words came out of my mouth like great fat flies before dropping dead to the ground between us. I thought she was going to hit me, but she laughed instead, tendrils of tobacco-laced smoke spiraling upward from her large, frail mouth. "You don't know me." She was getting too close, and I could smell the smoke on her breath and see how pale her skin was, as we'd lived our whole lives underground. "No one knows me, or my future, not even I do. They think my whole little life is already set in stone with a nice epitaph about courage or perseverance or some crap with a tacky little bunch of flowers that will lie on the soil for a few days, bloom, and then rot. Who says I have to rot?" I didn't know what an epitaph was, but I didn't want one. The rooks were chasing away the sun. "Look at the smoke," she said. I looked at the smoke. "It goes straight up," she told me. "It's always going to go straight up. We know that. We always know that, and we'll always be right. But look." I looked. "The smoke just goes, see? It goes where it will, and it's nothing to do with me, or with you, or the greater universe, or any of that crap. You can scream and yell, and all that smoke isn't ever going to do what it does regardless. Go on, make a guess where it'll go next, but you don't know, do you?" I told her that I didn't know. "I don't know either," she sighed, "but I think I like that smoke, you know." I was pretty sure I knew. We got back up. "We should go back," I told Rory, and help to get the drip back onto the road. We went back. The sky was dark, the road was dark. In the distance, two girls made of feathers in flight headed back up to a glowing hospital. The stub of a cigarette burned out in a ditch. Okay, that was my story, and Georgie, the picture that you wanted to see was this one, which was of Amanda Palmer. And yeah, gee, this is the picture of Amanda Palmer that I did. You might want to see it. Okay, see you guys, bye!